because they deserve a DA that won't have sex with his employees, because they deserve a DA that won't put money in their own pocket.
It's Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis in 2020 during her campaign. That clip did not age well. It seems increasingly clear that Willis did both. A judge in Georgia could remove her from the 2020 election interference case against Trump and his co-defendant. Chandelle Summer is here, former assistant public defender in Fulton County, an expert in this part of the law and divorce court. I think, Chandelle, this is the part that's confusing to so many people because it appears so clear there was prosecutorial misconduct. There was an affair with a subordinate, which you're not supposed to do. There was taking money and gifts in some form and taking favor from someone who was doing business with the county and not disclosing it, either illegal or certainly unethical and against the financial disclosures that Fani Willis provided. It would appear as though Nathan Wade, who was also a prosecutor, lied on his interrogatories about his divorce and was less than truthful, or at least played very, very cute. All things that are real appearances of impropriety, if not illegal. What is the difference between the law of disqualifying a prosecutor that this judge is going to have to figure out and the sort of standard that all of us feel that prosecutors should be held to?
Well, it is a question of whether there's an actual conflict of interest or the appearance of one. So it's a very low bar for the judge to disqualify the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. And there's certainly grounds for it. She has embarrassed the office. And that clip that just surfaced is really very timely. She beat her opponent for the job of district attorney by exposing his improprieties. And so now she's doing the same thing. It really is an embarrassment to the state of Georgia, and I think that it's going to be.
She's running for re-election. Yeah. Does she have any challengers right now?
I have not heard of any challengers, but qualifying is in March and the election is in May. It's a nonpartisan election, and generally those offices always have someone. It may be sort of an also ran, but there's generally competition for those jobs in Fulton County.
Yeah, it just seems as though it makes it so hard to prosecute any case when these issues are there. This has not gotten a lot of coverage. Obviously, all the details of her affair and on did. Closing arguments this week, a decision in the next couple of weeks from the judge about this, but it throws everything into disarray for the Trump case. But this part of her testimony, when she was talking about how she got cash, the cash that she allegedly used to pay her boyfriend back, I think raised some pretty serious questions, not just about her conduct with the affair, but about some other possible crimes. Take a listen.
It's been my whole life. When I took out a large amount of money on my first campaign, I kept some of the cash of that.
Yeah.
Of my first campaign, who would, I hate to ask it this way, but who prosecutes the prosecutor in Georgia? Who looks into this, what would be certainly a very serious crime?
Well, a special prosecutor could be appointed to prosecute another prosecutor. And in this case, it's a very interesting hierarchy of judgment on that issue, because if she's disqualified, it will go to Pete Scandalakis, who's a former district attorney and very connected in Georgia politics for many generations. And he's the one who's been tasked with determining whether to prosecute Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. And some people say he's dragging his feet on that he hasn't done anything with it. And so this case could really die on the vine. If she's disqualified and it goes to the prosecuting attorney's council, they could sit on it. They could say they can't find anybody for months and months and months. And then the election could come and it may be a moot point.
Yeah, we got to run, but you have been fantastic.
Thank you.
Throughout this whole thing, from the very beginning when this broke. We're going to keep having you back to talk about it as the developments come on. It's all my friends wanted to talk about this weekend. Thank you. We'll talk soon. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.